What's going on, guys? Welcome back to No Reserves Radio. Uh, this is the episode that never begins. Apparently, that was a experience. So we've been starting. I'm doing air quotes for about an hour now. But Angelo had to finish a 2K game, and then Austin is trying to get Taylor Swift tickets, and then finally, we were ready to record, and then Austin says, "Hold on, I've got to do an update real quick," and just dipped. Like we've been
Flat
sitting,
dipped.
just straight up dipped. But we're good to go. So welcome to the episode. We are finishing our top 10 lists. This week we are doing point guards. I think this is going to be the most interesting one. I don't know about you guys, but doing mine, I know Angelo said it was easy, but
It was.
Angelo's also Angelo. This wasn't that easy for me. There was a lot of variability that came into it, and again, these are all each of our individual opinions. So if you get mad, you get mad, whatever. That's weird to get mad about, but hey, you do you. And we have our own individual not our own individual. We have a criteria for what counted. So if a player is not on the list, they probably didn't play enough games, or they were listed in another position. Go check our other episodes, probably the shooting guard episode, if a guy is not here that you think should be. Before we get into that, let's jump right into the question of the day, which we're going to get a little deep here for a Thursday night. What is something that you still actively partake in specifically for a nostalgia factor? And what I mean by that is, what is something you do or that you go to kind of bring you back to when you were younger? Like, is it a smell, a taste, a restaurant, a TV show, a video game, a book? What is something you do to ground yourself and kind of get out of who you are now and get back to who you were when you were, like 9?
Okay, so I'll go first. Mine's, I guess, a little out of touch with what you all will probably have, but as viewers know, or listeners, I guess is what they are. Disney is like important to me, friend too, but he never comes. A ride that I have to do almost every single time is the Buzz Lightyear, like the Space Ranger, like the laser blaster one. And when I was a kid, I finally figured out the 100,000 spots to beat the game. So I always go in and beat the game, max out the game, just to give me that sense of I'm back at Disney. Everything's fine. If that makes sense.
Everything's fine.
Absolutely. Oh, that does. For me, there's a lot to pick from, and the reason I'm asking this is because, you two know, I've been, I've had a rough couple weeks here, so I've been trying to, as I said earlier, ground myself, go back to things I did when I was younger. I've been listening to a lot of music, but one thing, and this is the weirdest thing, and this is what brought on this question. Adam and I have been playing a classic video game, RuneScape, lately, and what made me think about that is I have not played this game in 15 years. I don't know, probably longer. But when the menu loaded up, there has not been a single update to the game. It is still the exact same menu. And I'm not kidding when I say, when I first clicked on play and I was like, oh, this will be an experience. It's a trip down memory lane. And then that music started up. I was sitting in my grandmother's computer room. I never left my house, but I was sitting in my grandmother's computer room and I could smell the dryer running. There's a specific nostalgia is a hell of a drug, is what I'm saying. But Angelo, you made it sound like you had an interesting one.
I do, actually. So, when I was younger, and after my parents got divorced, my dad used to make this thing called breaded steak. And it is basically country fried steak, except with a very thin meat. Like a milanesa or a Sabana, and I make it so much that when I don't make it, my fiance will tell me, you haven't made breaded steak in a while. You want to make it? I was like, yeah, sure.
That's actually interesting. I didn't really think about it from like a food standpoint, but that is, for me, it's a food that I haven't had since I was, I don't know, probably like 9. But my grandmother used to always make Welsh rarebit, which is basically cheese and toast. It has a very interesting taste because like you make it with beer, but you cook off all the alcohol. But yeah, no, that's food is a very great way of reconnecting with like who you used to be, I guess.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Anyway, that was a deep little jaunt here on No Reserves on Thursday. Listeners at home, experiment. What is something that brings you back to when you were younger? Some of you are still very, very, very young, but what is something that you chase? Like, what is a feeling you chase from when you're younger? Let's get into the news. Unless one of you has more to comment on nostalgia, because nostalgia's fun.
No, I'm good.
No? Okay. All right.
You could spend forever talking about it.
Yeah, absolutely. We could do a whole open gyming about it. So news for the day, there's not a ton, or news for the week, I guess. Jordan has officially sold the Charlotte Hornets to Plotkin and Schnall. There was a very nicely written open letter to the city of Charlotte from Jordan. I'm not going to go over it here, but I do recommend going through and reading it. Devontae Graham suspended 2 games following a DUI to start the season. John Wall, okay, this is one I wrote, and then there was an update afterwards. So John Wall is currently talking with teams in Italy about going overseas to play. He's denying it because that would essentially mean the end of his NBA career, right? But that's currently going. And then Team USA's roster. Have you guys looked at who is on the roster for Team USA going into FIBA 2023?
No, I have not.
It is
all I saw was Paulo.
It's a little underwhelming.
Really?
A little underwhelming. Like, don't get me wrong, these are quality NBA players. Some of them are very, very good NBA players. So I'm going to go through it real quick. So the point guard position, Jalen Brunson being backed up by Tyrese Halliburton. Or reverse.
Jalen Brunson is the starter?
We don't know for sure. That's just how it's listed.
Okay.
The wings are Brandon Ingram, Anthony Edwards, Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, Austin Reeves, and Josh Hart.
I don't hate any of it except Josh Hart.
Biggs, Paolo Banchero, Jaren Jackson Jr., Bobby Portis, and Walker Kessler. That is Team USA FIBA 2023.
Time to
what
get
happened?
Bronze.
Look, there's some good there. There's some very good there. It's a little underwhelming.
It's not just a little underwhelming. We're used to a team that had like LeBron and Kobe and KD.
You know what's wrong, Angelo?
And Mel. What?
They're old.
Load management.
Well, I think when Paul George broke his leg during an exhibition, it kind of like put a stop on like superstars going.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair.
Maybe we'll get back to it, but yeah, that's the FIBA 2023.
I like Paulo.
Yeah, I like Paulo. I like Jaren Jackson. I like Tyrese. And I like
the younger guys going.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's a very young team. It's not the youngest team we've ever fielded because the 2004 team was like 24 as an average age. This is 25. But that 2024 or that 2004 team had LeBron, Carmelo, Kobe. So yeah. The only other piece of news, and like we debated not talking about it, and by debated it I mean you guys said, is that a good idea? And I said we're doing it. Is the Orlando Magic. So while I'm talking, Angelo, I want you to do a Google for me, and you don't have to comment on it. I just want your reaction to it when you finish this Google. Okay, are you ready?
Let me get on Google. Okay, I'm here.
I want you to type who owns the Orlando Magic. Now, the Orlando Magic made a donation to Ron DeSantis for his presidential campaign bid, which at its core, I do not have a problem with, right? Like, if you want to donate to someone on the political spectrum in any direction whatsoever, that's a you decision, and no one can tell you that's right or wrong, whatever. My problem is when you're representing these players, this company, this brand, right? And these are people that have different political beliefs, backgrounds, ideals. Did you get to who owns the?
I got to which family owns it.
Right. So it makes sense now that they donated to Ron DeSantis, right?
Yeah.
So at its core, I don't care if you want to donate to a politician. That's like you're right as an American citizen. It's great, good for you. I just don't like when you do it when you're representing other people. Like when you're doing it essentially in other people's names, because they could just as easily have donated as themselves and not done it on
So,
behalf of the Orlando Magic, because now you're saying Paulo Banchero's donating or Cole Anthony's donating, and that's not fair to those players, whether or not they disagree or agree with you, because maybe they would donate on their own, but you shouldn't be donating on behalf of other people, I guess is the point I'm making.
so this isn't a political statement. This is just a general question.
Mhm.
I believe, and I'm sure a lot of people believe, that the way that we get money to politicians is shady. Do you think that this is a way to get money to DeSantis for political reasons to make it look like they're not directly supporting him?
So I don't know. It's hard to say because I don't I'm not going to pretend to understand like what's going on in Florida.
I have no idea. Yeah.
So it's from the sounds of it, if you look at the dating of it, they donated prior to his bid, right?
But there's a limit, right?
Right. So, but they donated to him as governor of Florida as kind of a like you're the governor of Florida, we're going to donate to you. Scratch my back, I scratch yours. I don't know. I'm just saying like that's what it seems like. Then he announced he was running for president, which is where the issue lies, I guess. And I'm saying issue because again, you're well within your rights to donate to someone. That's not a problem. It's just do it under your own name, not as a collective that has other people that represent it. Like if I were to go donate to an organization as No Reserves Radio without consulting Angelo and Austin, it's almost saying they agree with that, whether or not they do. And I just don't think that's cool because those people also deserve their own voice. That's what makes America America, right? So, yeah, I don't have a problem with it. I just have a problem with the execution of it, I guess. But I don't know. You guys got anything else on it?
No, I don't.
Nope.
Florida man doesn't want to comment on Florida.
When Florida man understands what Florida is doing, Florida man will comment.
Okay, that's actually completely fair. So are you guys ready to move into our top 10 lists?
Almost. I
Almost?
am surprised. I am
Okay,
so
okay.
surprised, Ren.
All right, here we go.
Go ahead.
I am really surprised you did not mention my time on my first episode.
So I was actually going to save that for the end, but we can do it now if you want.
Yeah, let's go for it.
Okay, you want to do it now?
Ren.
So
Yeah.
those of you joining us on Sunday, because this episode will release at 6 a.m. on Sunday. If it doesn't, I'm going to throw a fit. So if you're joining us on Sunday morning, you're listening to No Reserves, you probably didn't get a push notification, and I don't know why. But on Thursday, which is the day we're recording, so it is today, you might have gotten a notification for an episode. It was not a bonus episode. It was actually the pilot episode of our new series. It is No Reserves Football. So it's going to be kind of the same format, but it is football related, and it is the first episode was just Angelo and one of our new associates, people, one of our new members of the No Reserves grouping named Alex, and it was a good listen. I was pleasantly surprised.
What did
Not
you expect?
meaning any offense. I just there's a level of certainty I expect with each of our episodes based on the fact that I know you, I know Austin, and I know myself, and I know what we're going to talk about. And I know how it's going to go. I've never had a conversation with Alex until he joined the group chat yesterday, 2 days ago, whenever he joined.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't sure how it was going to go, and you kind of lit some alarm bells in the group chat when you were talking about the intro and all that. But honestly, for a pilot episode, I thought it was very good. I thought it was very strong. I'm actually very impressed with Alex. And, if you are a fan of football, go give it a listen. Let us know what you'd like to see from it. I think there will be other hosts on it at some point, but for the time being, I think it will just be Alex and Angelo. We use that first episode. We're grading some things, and we're going to work some things out with like audio quality and that sort of thing. We always want to be improving over here at No Reserves. But yeah, go give it a listen. Let us know what you think. That episode will come out on Thursday, which is today. When you hear this, it will have already been out for 4 days, so you need to go listen to it. Going forward, the episodes will release on, correct me if I'm wrong, Tuesdays.
Yes, and if we have secondary episodes to talk about fantasy, they will release on Thursday. So if you like regular football talk Tuesday, fantasy talk Thursday.
So this is basically, we're doing a kind of a torture experiment to see how long it takes Angelo to burn out. But the point
More or
is,
less.
if you like basketball and you like football, you're in a great place because you're going to be getting content 3 to 4 days a week, every week. So go give it a listen. Give us feedback. Let us know what you'd like to see us improve on. Do you have any, you are now hosting your own podcast, Angelo. You're not subject to my whims. How do you feel about it?
Free.
Free?
Amazing. Yes. Yes. No more of the no, Angelo. We can't do that.
I mean, I still will say that.
Yeah, but here's the thing. It's easier to ask for forgiveness than it is to ask for permission. So, at the end of the day.
There were a few things I do want to go over with you at another time.
You're really
we'll just keep pushing that time down the road. It's all good.
We keep pushing it down the road.
Yeah.
So let's get into the lists.
Seriously. I would like to address something. Okay. I would like to address something before we start these lists.
The episode that never starts continues.
The episode that never starts continues. I would like to address something. Okay. So, when you were doing the show sheet, Rehn.
Yeah, absolutely.
We gave the golden L to Austin at the end of the last episode. Yes. And quite honestly, when you looked at point guards, you would pencil in Angelo receives the golden L today. I'm not confident I am going to out. Wemby will be a bust. Anthony Edwards is a fringe top 10 player, and DeMar DeRozan, I don't know. I'm not as confident that I'm actually going to receive this as I am with Austin around anymore. I don't know.
Wemby doesn't count.
I don't know. You've told me the last 2 weeks. So here's the thing. Here's the thing. I want to change the order we do this, because what's been happening is Rehn starts with something reasonable, Austin goes off the wall, and then I'm like, well, what do I do now? So I want this to go you, me, Austin.
Okay, so
as it should, as Austin has earned.
Okay, so while you were finishing your game,
whatever you were doing,
we actually were talking about this, and Austin and I decided that we should just continue it because we've done it the whole time, and Austin's reasoning is like the opposite of yours, which is like like it's almost to keep you chained because the only time you get a chance to speak your mind is if you are doing a player we haven't done yet, because you do the Angelo thing where like, oh yeah, you said enough, and then you just delete whatever comment you were gonna say that's like snarky about that player. I am fine with changing the order, but the thing is, and this is nothing against Austin, it's just how we all do it. Like, I overdo my preparations in terms of players, and I think Angelo does that as well. And Austin does it, but he flies by the seat of his pants. So like, he won't think so much about what he's gonna say. He just thinks about why he's gonna say it, right?
Truth.
And so it kind of makes sense for him to be in the middle, but it also is why he has the takes he has, because he doesn't think about what he's gonna say. Like, he's okay, listeners. Austin does not drink. He has never drank anything. He is the drunkest sober man I've ever met.
All I'm gonna say is this: there better be someone who gets a damn golden L today.
Oh, it's gonna be me. I'm just telling you because of who I left off. I did not forget the player I left off. I just could not justify putting them in my top 10. And after talking to Austin, he might have left him off, but I don't know for sure yet. Can we start the episode that never starts?
We can start that's the title of the episode, by the way.
It is 100%.
Austin already said that.
Okay.
So
Well, you're already making a case for your L there, bud.
Good. I need it. I want one. I want my damn golden L.
Can I start? Can I start?
Yes, you can start.
Okay, so for number 10 on the point guard list, I have Jalen Brunson. And for me, the biggest tell of Jalen Brunson was the impact on the court, or the biggest tell for Jalen Brunson's impact on the court was the hole that it left for the Dallas Mavericks when he left. So having to pull this mid-season trade for Kyrie and get Luka the help, because we all just thought Luka's going to steamroll that team to the playoffs, right? Because that's just who Luka is. We saw the gap, right? And outside of that, just in terms of pure talent. So Jalen Brunson averaged 24 points, 3.5 rebounds, 6.2 assists, shooting 49% from the field, 42% from three, with a PER of 21.2. He is not an uber athletic player by any stretch of the imagination, but I think that does benefit him going down, because those are the players that through their prime, they don't slow down because they don't rely on freakish speed or insane vertical. It's just good floor generalship. It also helps that he has an insanely good contract that's going to help build a team around him and lets him be that floor general. Obviously, you'd want more from the assist totals, but I think that's going to come as they get help in New York, and I fully believe they will. He elevated him in the playoffs, and this was the case. So I have two players on the list that were definitely, what have you done for me lately? And this was my first one. Even though they only played 11 games in the playoffs, he averaged 28 points in the playoffs. So having a lead guard that you can rely on is probably the fundamental building block of the modern NBA. Jalen Brunson checks all the boxes for me. So that's number 10.
That's fair. My number 10, I went with, and Angelo, don't kill me, Darius Garland. So he is averaging 21.6, so 22, 3 rebounds, 8 assists, shooting 46 and 41 from 3. I mean, he's solidly offensively. I was debating him and one other person, and the reason the other person was potentially my number 10 was defense. But then I was taking a look at his defensive stats, and his defensive win share is a 3.0. That feels weird coming from a Darius Garland to me.
So one thing to factor when you're looking at defensive win share, and it's no knock against Garland, because I do think Garland is, I'm not going to say an underrated defender, but he's a better defender than he's given credit for. But playing with Evan Mobley and Jared Allen,
You just funnel people into him.
yeah, your win share is going to be a little bit higher just off of that, as I was looking into it, because we were talking about win share before the show, and I'm looking at it, and it seems like there's a lot of funneling. So yeah, but that's defensive skill. Like, that's an awareness to do the right thing. And
The Cavaliers low key have found like the cheat code to having a very good defense.
yeah, absolutely. It's
Like,
I mean, it
shockingly
helps when
good.
you have those two down low. So
Yeah.
that's the cheat code.
so I like Garland at number 10. He's a great player, and I think me and Ren were talking about it before. These point guards are kind of insane.
Yeah, they
and
are.
That's
To
why we
have
wanted to do
Garland
5.
at 10.
Yeah. That's why we wanted to do 5-1, because the point guard position is definitely the most skill diverse of any of the positions, and I think if there's a place where we're going to actually argue, it's going to be here, even though I do think our top 3 will be identical, if not the same 3 players in a different order.
Agreed.
Necessarily
Angelo?
agree. So, anyway, my number 10 is Jalen Brunson.
Oh God.
Why?
I-
You need to tell us why.
Yeah, you need to tell us why. Don't just say Ren hit all the boxes. Like, tell me why you picked Jalen Brunson.
Well, you did. But he averaged 24 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists, and a 21 PER. What?
I already said that.
Okay, well, my bad. You already said that. I tried to zone you out. I was like, no, Ren, and then I hear Jalen Brunson. I was like, oh, here we go again. But honestly, I think for me, because his stats are really good, and he was. Did it cut me out there? Okay, I
heard he
honestly
was.
wasn't sure how I felt about the Jalen Brunson contract, and I'm kind of sad I have my doubts because Jalen has been good for them in a multitude of ways. And not only that, you didn't bring up like just the shot creation that he brings to the table for the New York Knicks, and that opens up Randall. That's gonna open up RJ Barrett even more, even though his efficiency isn't that great. And honestly, for the Knicks, like I've made fun of them for it in the past. We just haven't been on record. I think they should go and keep giving mid contracts to free agents and see how many of them can pan out. It's the best thing that's worked for them.
One thing I didn't comment on with Brunson that I do think benefits him a lot, because he is very crafty.
He is.
He's a lefty. He's a southpaw, and there's not a lot of left-handed players in the NBA. I remember. I want to say it was like 2014. Do you remember? But I'm going to say, do you remember Tristan Thompson switching handedness because it's harder to guard a lefty because you're just not used to it. So that's another benefit for him.
That's true.
Um,
Who's your number 9, Ren?
Good job. You didn't just say I checked all the boxes. So my number 9 is Jamal Murray.
But you kind of did.
I said during the Jalen Brunson that I had 2 players that were what have you done for me lately. The second one is Jamal Murray, because he did not have a great season. I mean, he had a solid season. So 20 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists, 45, 40, 83 shooting splits, and 18 PER. The difference is in the playoffs. Now, obviously, you can't go wrong with picking an NBA champion point guard, but he averaged 26 in the playoffs with 7 assists, 6 rebounds, shooting again 50, 40, 90.
Yeah.
Given his history of injuries, for me this season was largely about availability, and he showed consistency and then elevated when it mattered the most. And just overall, like, what can you say wrong about Jamal Murray? And so yeah, it was an easy number 9 for me. I think my 9, 10, 11, 12 I debated on for a while. This was the easiest one for me, just because of that elevation during the playoffs, because that's when it matters the most. And you can have a great season, but if you don't show up in the playoffs, does it matter? Yes, it still is important. But if you have a mediocre regular season and then elevate to the point of arguably being a consideration for finals MVP, that's important to me. So Jamal Murray,
percentage, baby. Jamal Murray's. I'm not going to spoil my list, but Jamal Murray is a lot higher on this list, and the playoffs is a big reason why. That's fair.
So I'll just nip that in the butt. Jamal Murray's not even on my top 10. And that's because I didn't look at his playoff performance. If
That
I
was the one.
did, he's easily on my list, pretty decently high up, mid to high.
Yeah.
But I didn't take his playoffs into account, so I know he won't be there.
So now here's a follow-up question.
So
Did you do it with any other player on your list?
I did not.
Okay.
Nope. I tried to, if I grade a certain way for one, I try to do it for all. So
Okay.
my number 9 is Jalen Brunson. And you all have hit most of the boxes. The one thing that I want to bring up is the one thing I like about Brunson is when his usage went up, so did his scoring and efficiencies and everything else.
Yeah.
Right. A lot of times when people get more usage, they start to reverse trend. But I liked that for him. He's only 26 and he is continuing to show improvement on the Knicks and hopefully in the future. So that's why I put him at my 9.
Yeah, no, it makes sense.
Who's
So
9
my 9. So I wasn't mad at you putting Garland 10 because Garland is 9 for me.
Okay.
He averaged 22 points, 3 rebounds, 8 assists with a 19 PER. It's kind of a homer pick because I love Garland. I think that with the addition of Donovan Mitchell, that has kind of capped Darius Garland's scoring, like where it can go. But at the same time, I think one of the questions Rehn had, if I'm not mistaken, was how would Garland and Donovan Mitchell fit? And the answer is amazingly. Garland has gone back, he has taken a seat back, and he has become more of a facilitator generally, while also being able to give you a big game here and there when the rest of the team needs it. I love Garland. I absolutely love Garland, man.
Absolutely. And I will spoil it here. I left Garland off my list. He was my number 11.
I don't blame you. It's very debatable.
It was I think the top 3 are set in stone. I will be shocked. You don't.
I don't.
Okay. Interesting.
So those of us that are rational believe the top 3 are set in stone. After that, I think an argument could be made for anyone in probably the top 12 for the rest of the spots. I think 4 and 5 are pretty close. But then everyone else after that, I think you could make an argument for. So, yeah. You got anything else to add on Garland?
I do not. You can continue with your number 8.
Austin, you were about to
One thing I was going to say, I think I'm sure we're going to come back to this, but that just kind of shows how strong this position is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
There's no arguing. You could have people in the top 12, 13 that could be top 10, depending on how you look at it.
So, moving to number 8 for me. So, number 8, I had Swipa. De'Aaron Fox, 25 points, flat, 25 flat, straight up. 4.2 rebounds, 6 and 1 assists, 51% from the field, 32% from 3, 78% from the line, a 21.8 PER. So, after a few years of being arguably worthy of being an all-star, he finally made it this season. I think the biggest change that I personally saw in watching Kings games, because as you all know, I love the Sacramento Kings, is the same thing he fixed the thing that we've always said Russell Westbrook lacked, because you can make a very easy argument that De'Aaron Fox is the fastest basketball player, right? I don't actually think that's an argument. I think that should be a fact at this point. But prior to this season, he played with that same out-of-control nature that Russell Westbrook was guilty of, where it didn't matter to him how to finish. It just mattered that he got to the rim. He got around his man. He got around the defense. He got to the rim, and he was playing severely out of control. This season, it seems like he finally did grasp that there's more to being fast than being fast for the sake of being fast. So once he got to the rim or got to his spot, he was able to more consistently make the right decision and make the right play. and not go up out of control and just miss a terribly timed layup. Obviously, the game is won and lost by 3-pointers, and you would want to see more out of him in that regard because he never has been a shooter. But this season, they did only play 7 games in the playoffs, but he was a large part of the reason that the Sacramento Kings finally made the playoffs and ended that drought, and that did play into it. He did elevate a little bit in the playoffs, averaging 27.4, 8 assists, 6 rebounds, and 2.1 steals. He actually led in steals during the playoffs. Granted, again, he only played 7 games. But yeah, De'Aaron Fox really elevated this year. Hopefully this continues. Him and Sabonis have just really paired very well. And Sabonis led the league in pick and roll assists, I believe. And that just benefits De'Aaron Fox perfectly. So, yep, De'Aaron Fox, number 8.
So, my number 8 is also De'Aaron Fox, and I'm surprised you remembered that Sabonis was on the Kings.
I will cut you.
I mean, you hit most of the things I wanted to talk about. The one thing I didn't realize was his minutes per game actually went down this year. He went from 35 to 33, and his scoring went up. So, I mean, he's playing well. His 3-point shooting, he's taking more threes. That's, I think, what's important to note about him is he started in the league shooting 2 threes a game. He's up to 5. He's not hitting them great, but he's becoming more confident in his shot to pull the 3 instead of just slash. Personally, I would put him higher, maybe 6 instead of 8 if he could get his free throw percentage up.
Yeah,
because if you are going to be the one that is slashing and trying to get to the line, you gotta kind of hit those free points. But I mean, 22 PER, like you said, 25, 4, and 6, solid numbers for a number 8.
Yep.
Oh man.
He has De'Aaron Fox at number 8.
Oh, anyway, my number 8 is De'Aaron Fox.
Talk us through it. You have to do your stuff.
So, the thing I guess the thing I can add that you guys haven't said is precisely how De'Aaron's speed and how his game translates to the Kings' offense. The Kings were one of the fastest tempo teams, if not the fastest tempo team in the NBA. So, like, that speed and his versatility and him just keeping on to progressing his game is one of the main reasons why the Kings are or were where they were. Granted, they still lost in the first round, but they were good. They were a great team to watch, and they were fun to watch in the regular season and in the playoffs. And De'Aaron Fox was a huge reason for that. And,
so they were actually the highest paced team.
Yeah, I believe that.
Yeah, it makes
Yeah.
Yep. So we will move to my number 7. So my number 7 is Tyrese Halliburton. And this is one that, for me, obviously near and dear to my heart. But it feels weird putting him this low because I don't know, maybe you value points more, but a 20-point double-double as a point guard is something to be admired. And even though he has probably the ugliest jump shot in professional basketball right now, he still sank 40% of his threes. He's a great touch around the rim. He's an average defender, but really what really sets him apart from the competition is his playmaking abilities. I would argue, and I'm not going to say he's better than Jokic or Luka. I think those are probably the 2 best playmakers in the NBA right now. I would argue Tyrese is probably the 3rd best pure passer in the game right now. But for me, what really made this obvious, because I was looking at more in-depth, I guess, stats. So when Tyrese Halliburton was suited up for the Pacers, they were 28 and 28. Okay? when he got injured and when he was out, the Pacers were 7 for 19. Or 7 and 19. So the impact that he had on the Pacers offense and defense, it's not arguable. And if we're grading off of last season's performance, having a player that we can actively see the performance of the team with and without them, and granted, he had a 24 PER. Let's not sleep on that at all. But shooting 50, 40, 87 with 20 points and 10 assists, you can't argue with it. So Tyrese Halliburton, number 7.
I don't hate it. My number 7, I have the man, the myth, the legend, Demetrius Morant. He had 26 points, 6 rebounds, 8 assists, 23 PER. My problem for why Ja Morant is not higher is his three-point percentage is low, obviously, and his free throw percentage is terrible. He's a 75% free throw. That may not be terrible in other people, but
when your entire game is based around dunking.
Exactly. He took just about 500 free throws this year in the 61 games that he played, right? He left 120-ish points on the board or off the board just because he couldn't hit his free throw. That's a lot of points, right? And that's like a full game worth of points. So, I mean, if you're this man that is built around slashing, you got to work on your free throw, my dude. Not including all the other stuff that we've talked about before. But so Ja Morant 7 for that big reason.
I better be taking the golden L in this one.
Why?
You'll see.
Okay.
My number 7 is Kyrie Irving.
Ooh.
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 Ew, indeed.
Ooh. So I'm gonna ask if you did the Angelo thing.
What?
Did you look at Kyrie Irving's total season, or did you sort it based on the time he spent at point guard?
Total season.
Okay, so that's why we said, ooh.
Ah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Oh,
Yeah.
Yes, I get it. I get it.
He got
Yes!
the
Golden
Yes!
L.
Spoiler alerts, Kyrie Irving did not make my list because he
That's
was
true.
horribly inefficient at point guard.
He
Or my
was.
list.
Excellent.
All
Excellent.
right.
Well,
Austin,
let's talk about him
who is
anyway.
it?
27 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, 22 PER. He's a great shot creator. He also was on the Mavericks as they collapsed. Hold on, let me see this. I'm
We don't need
gonna.
to bring that back up.
What's wrong?
It's
What's
gonna
wrong?
be brought up. It's gonna be brought up at least one more time. Don't worry.
I know.
At least 3 more times. At least 3 more
times.
times. Hold on. I'm pulling up
3?
basketball reference. Yes, 3 more times.
I don't know what the other time is going to be.
I don't understand.
I know of one.
Let's see. 20 points. Or not 20 points. Yeah. 20 games.
And Angelo, not prepared.
Let's
The
go.
second Golden L. You doubled up on the Golden L.
Yes. I mean, what's wrong with? I mean,
So
40 games. 40 games. 27 points. Either way, move on. What's your number 6? Run. Yeah.
Oh,
I'm so happy. I'm so happy.
double won the Golden L. So my number 6 is Trae Young. So I'm interested to see if Angelo has Trae on his list. I think it's questionable if he doesn't. I don't even know if Austin does. But again, it would be questionable if we don't. So it's really hard to argue with 26.2 points and 10.2 assists, right? Granted, he's not an efficient scorer, or he's not the most efficient scorer there is. He only hit 33% of his threes this season. 42% from the field, or 43% from the field, sorry. 88% from the line, a PER of 22. Yes, he is a defensive turnstile, and yes, he's not the most efficient player defensively. But he's also only 24, and there's a lot of room for him to continue to grow. But based on just last season, if we are talking just last season, right, which is what we're doing, it's really hard to argue with 26 and 10. I want to hear an argument against 26 and 10 because 10.2 assists, that led the league in assists. Or did it? No. That led the playoffs in assists. That led the playoffs in assists. Sorry, I have the side-by-side playoffs and regular season, and I normally click regular season first, but I clicked playoffs first. But he averaged 10.2 in the playoffs and the regular season. In the playoffs, he averaged 29.2. But yeah, I would like to hear an argument. And if you don't have Trae Young on your top 10, I want you to argue against 26 and 10 right now. If you've got him on your list, I'll wait for him on your list.
I shall wait.
Angelo?
What's up?
Yeah, is Trae Young on your list?
No.
Okay, so I want you to argue against 26 and 10. Tell me how you left this man off your list. We're segueing out of the top 10. We're segueing into why Angelo left Trae Young off his list.
Now, I don't know about you, but I'm a simple small town bird lawyer, okay? And the last time I checked, Austin, correct me if I'm wrong. Did Rehn not start the episode by saying these are our own personal lists?
No, they 100% are. That doesn't mean I don't want you to explain it. Because I explained the fact that I left Darius Garland off. I want you to explain how you can leave someone that's 26 and 10 off of your list.
Same way you leave someone that's DeMar DeRozan off your list.
Not the same.
You hold the golden L. Like, I get it.
Exactly, baby. Yeah.
But you...
Yeah.
I don't remember. Did he explain why he left DeMar DeRozan off his list?
Because he forgot and he didn't like him.
So explain to me why you left Trae Young off your list.
Because he is part of the sinking ship, and then the ship officially sunk, and because the head coach apparently, and then it came back, but apparently it didn't come back enough because they gave up in the playoffs again. So nah, I don't got Trae Young.
So I got a question for you, Angelo.
Go for it.
If the ship finally sinks and the cargo all floats away, right? Trae Young goes to a new team.
Yep.
If Trae Young drops 26 and 10 on another team, is he on your list?
No.
Then why are you using the sinking ship as the example? If he wins a finals 26 and 10, is he on your top 10?
Oh yeah.
But that doesn't make sense.
It takes it to the third round.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Conference round.
Hold on. Let's pause real quick. So I'm
trying to find where the playoffs don't matter for Angelo.
So let me ask you. Okay, Angelo, are you ready?
Sure.
Guy averages 24 and 6. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't go anywhere in the playoffs. Is he on your list?
24 and 6 doesn't go anywhere in the playoffs.
Uh-huh.
Jalen Brunson?
Yeah, Jalen Brunson. Is he on your list?
He was number 10.
Okay.
He was debated with Trae Young, as he should. Right? Yeah, yes or no? Yes or no, Rehn?
Okay,
Have you
so
Curtin yet?
we're gonna get to Angelo. We'll come back to Angelo once you get through the rest of your list. But
Okay.
I'm just gonna tell you, I'm gonna find a hypocrisy here because I know, looking at the list, that there's probably a guy in your top 3 that didn't even make the playoffs this year.
There is.
Absolutely.
I mean, if you put Halliburton on his list, he's
right. but we don't know if Halliburton's on his list.
That's true. So let's wait.
There's,
We'll get to it.
we're gonna come back to Trey after the list.
What
Listeners
number are we
know.
on?
We are on number 6.
6. All right. My number 6 is Tyrese Halliburton.
Nice.
And I mean 20.7, so 21, 4, and 10.5 ish. I mean, he's a solid player. Rehn hit on it. He's efficient. 49 from field goal, 40 from 3, 87 from free throw, so he can actually hit his free throws. My only issue with him was his availability. He only played 56 of the 82.
Now, as a Pacers fan, I will elaborate that was kind of artificial because the team did shut him down.
The team gave up,
Yeah.
Did
So,
they? Okay.
yeah.
I forgot that then.
So you add about 10 games because he probably could have played 68.
Okay. That was the big reason that I put him at 6 instead
Austin?
of my 5. And we'll get to my 5, but
I don't have I put him at 7 as a homer pick.
Yeah, no, I think he's fine in this like 5 to 7 range is fine for.
I will say out of this list, he probably has the highest upside. Well, no, hold on, because I realized. Never mind. He's number 3 on upside on this list.
Okay,
I will say.
There you go.
I forget how
so
young.
So far, who we've talked about, I would agree he has the most upside.
2 of the top 3, maybe 3 of the top 5 have higher upside. But yeah, my homer pick says he's gonna be the best on this list.
Yeah.
My realistic pick says, hopefully.
He was also born on the leap day.
Yeah, he's only like 8 years old, apparently.
Wasn't that nice?
Angelo, number 6.
Angelo's number 6 is Jamal Murray. And a lot of it has to do, you've already gone through the stats, 20 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists on 18 PER. The main catalyst for putting him there was the bonkers playoffs.
Boo.
Like, hey, you can say what you want to say, but like, there was a legitimate argument for him to be the Finals MVP with Jokic. Him and Jokic together is the reason why they made it as far as they made it. And to me, I'm more scared of the guy that could drop 50, like, off the dribble. But that's just me. I like him.
That's fair. And I think that's where I would place him if I was factoring in playoffs. I think this 7 to 6 range is where I'd put him too.
Yeah. He hovered between 5 and 7. But
the reason I put him as low as I did is because like
the regular season doesn't look so hot.
Regular season left him off of the list. Playoffs put him on the list. So like I couldn't justify, like, I don't argue with you putting him as high as you did, but me personally, that's why I put him at 9.
Sure.
So number 5.
Baby.
What?
You said top 5, baby.
I think I know who 5 is for both of you guys.
It is Damian Lillard.
What?
Excuse me?
What?
Okay.
Explain.
So Austin, does this now mean the top 3 are not consensus?
Yeah.
Because it means it for me too.
Yeah.
So you guys have Dame in your top 3?
I gave the little man some credit, yeah.
Even though he only played 58 games?
We'll get
there.
Okay,
Go ahead.
We'll get there.
Let's talk about it.
So, don't get me wrong. We were a year removed from Dame coming off a pretty major injury. And I think that had an impact on my early season predictions because I wasn't, it's not that I forgot who Damian Lillard was. It's just I didn't think about Damian Lillard because I didn't see him much the prior season. Those injury issues continued this year. Look, he's still one of the greatest scorers in the league, regardless of position. I'm not going to argue that. He averaged 32 points, 4.8 rebounds, 7.3 assists, 26.7 PER, which is, you guys are going to bring that up in a second. The problem is he shot 37% from the field, or 37% from three, 46.3% from the field. All of the drama around him, and then missing the playoffs.
Did you just factor the off-court drama into your?
Wait a minute.
last
So you're
season?
telling me, for 99% of your list, you did not factor in playoffs except for
Oh.
like a handful of players, and now, right
No,
now, on
no,
your point guards, you put in what happened after the season concluded.
I've always considered the playoffs. It just doesn't have a huge
The
impact on
playoffs
me.
are part of the seasons. This is not. This is not part of the season. This is the off season. We are going into next year. You're considering that.
No, I'm considering the fact that he led a team that missed the playoffs. Yes.
That's not what
Okay. Okay. I'm fair with that, though. Okay, that's all I want to know.
Look, it's great that you scored 32.2 points. It didn't win you any games, is what I'm trying to say. Like, he's a great scorer. He's probably the best pure scorer in basketball.
It's starting to sound like me.
No, no, do
Yeah.
not put that evil on me. But it didn't translate to wins, and you are the floor general, right? The point guard drives the offense, or we say that, like, obviously point forwards are a thing.
Rehn, they're a dumpster fire organization, and he was taking doubles every single game all season.
I will fact check that, but yeah, no, Damian Lillard, great player, number 5.
Which one, the dumpster fire or the double teams?
Double teams. So go ahead, Austin, while I Google this.
What?
Did you go on to your number 5?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Damian Lillard was 6th in the league on double teams.
Yeah.
That's why, because when it wasn't. Hold on.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7. I know how
number
to count.
7. And you've got to factor in, what percentage was that? It was 26%.
Yeah.
Mm. And he only played 53 games. 58 games.
Okay.
I'm just saying, like, it's great that you scored a lot, but you're not a young player, okay? So, like, it would be different if we were talking, like, if Darius Garland, okay? Or not Darius Garland. Darius Garland would be a poor example. If who's a good young guard?
Stay.
Shea? It would be different if you're Shea and you average all these points or all these rebounds or all these assists and you don't make the playoffs because you're a burgeoning talent, right? But you're Damian Lillard. You've been in the league for a long time. I don't care how much you're scoring if you're not winning games. If you're
Austin,
shooting inefficiently.
do you know what Rehn just did?
I'm going to be honest with you. My brain is broken.
Do you know what Rehn just did? Rehn just made my argument for players leaving right there. Right there. Yes, I did. I get that I am tough on players, but I try to give them the freedom to go wherever they want. You will criticize them and say, you should do better. And then when they leave, you'll say that is part of the equation. Oh, my God.
I'm still processing.
Austin.
My number 5 is Trae Young.
Hold on. No,
Go ahead, Angelo.
Time. So you've got to factor in the fact that not only did he not, like, he had the highest usage rate of his career. Think about that for a second, right?
Because they're trash.
I mean, I get Rehn's argument for this because he has objectively graded people lower because their usage was higher because they're on a bad team.
Right.
I get that.
You're scoring a lot on a bad team and you're not winning. Way to go.
It's your other arguments that are breaking me. I don't even remember what you argued.
It's about to explode when you realize I put Demetrius in the top 5.
I already knew that. I could tell from once you said name, I knew your list is trash.
So
Trash.
now we will petition Rehn to potentially receive the
No,
golden
no, no,
L.
no, 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 no.
No? No?
You put
I'm down to
Kyrie.
name the award after him.
Oh!
So
You
what
know,
I
technically it's 2-1. Technically it's 2-1.
look, okay. So I will take that you could put him higher, okay? What I'm trying to figure out is who
What?
I'm trying to figure out who you all left off of your top 3.
Oh, you know who I left off the top 3.
Yeah, I
I-
think it's a pretty easy bet. I mean, I think mine's a pretty easy guess to what it is, but
Okay, so we're going to do I mean, I can see who it is because I think you all just went off of PER.
Well, I didn't just go off PR, but go on.
yeah, me either.
Yeah, no, it's like I don't
So,
even like as I'm looking at it, I'm not even second guessing it.
okay. So your number 5 is Trey Young, Austin, correct?
Yeah,
Correct.
explain it. Go ahead.
I the reason I gave Trey Young over Tyrese is kind of what you said. You can't argue with 26 and 10. Tyrese has 21 and 10. Like 5 points can be a big difference. Um, I don't know. Trey Young is a polarizing player for this entire podcast.
I think Ren broke Austin.
I think
He's so depressed now.
I am still comprehending a lot. I think Ren is on the side of Trey is the man. I'm in the middle, and Angela's Trey should be out of the league.
Oh, I don't think Trey is the man.
I don't think Trey should be out of the league.
I'm going to the extremes, but that's where you guys are on those sides of the lines in terms of in the middle for me. My Angel, do your 5. I'm processing things.
So my 5 is Tyrese Halliburton.
Okay.
It's for a lot of the reasons Ren said. They looked very impressive with him off the floor. They looked really mediocre with him off the floor to the point that they held him out just to get better lottery odds.
Mediocre. That team was trash when he was
Okay.
injured.
Yeah, so was the Portland Trailblazers without Dame, but apparently that. Anyway.
Disrespect to Jeremy Grant and
Any-
Anthony Simons.
Anyway. Oh, man. Tyrese Halliburton. I like his game. He's a very good floor general. He's pretty good at defense, and he can score a lot of points. And you're right, the jumper does look ugly, but it somehow goes in, so I guess that's all that matters.
Probably the ugliest jumper I've ever seen in my life.
It
has
is,
that weird
it's
hitch.
terrible.
Like it looks like what everyone joked Markelle Fultz's jump shot looked like. Even though Markelle Fultz is like it had a hitch to it.
Lonzo
Tyrese-
Ball before the adjustments, or that Tyrese Halliburton.
Yeah, horrible. I would take Lonzo before. Like
You take it up?
In terms of like shooting form, obviously results I would take.
Right.
But, like if you ask me to like which jump shot do I think is gonna go in more frequently, Lonzo. Like Tyrese has an ugly jump shot, but it works.
Yeah.
So number 4, Demetrius Morant.
Okay.
So he is up here specifically for the athleticism. It's not arguable. He is one of, if not the most athletic players in the game today. Correct?
Correct.
26.2 points, 6 rebounds, 8.1 assists. We're grading point guards here, correct? And he had more, like, we aren't factoring or valuing assists at all in these discussions. Yes, he had a 23.3 PER. Yes, he had significant off-court drama. But he's a large part of the reason they made the playoffs. Because he did only miss a couple of games, all things considered. I think it was 21. Yeah, 21. He only started 59 games, though. That's weird.
Yeah.
Shooting 46% from the field, 307.307. That's worrying. He shot .307. Think about that for a second. From three, so 30%, and 74% from the field or from the free throw line. Austin already highlighted on that. Like, if you're gonna be this aggressive, you gotta hit your free throws. So he needs to work on that. But in just takeover ability, there isn't many like Ja Morant. There's not many people that can electrify a gym like Ja can. And he also got his team to the playoffs. Averaged 24 points in the playoffs, but they got beat in the first round. Oh yeah, Ja Morant, number 4.
Ja Morant, number 4. Nice.
Who's your
So
number
my
4?
number 4 is Mr. Wardell Stephen Curry.
We have a very different top 3.
We have a very
We
different
know.
top 3 indeed.
I mean, this is no knock on Steph. I mean, the man averaged 36 and 6, right?
Yeah.
I just think my number 3 personally is better. Not better. Last year, my number 3 played better. And that's the big separation between 4 and 3. I think there's an argument for either. I'm going to put the Rehn answer out there. He shot really efficient, 49 from the field, 43 rounded up from 3-point. That's kind of insane. 91% from free throws. Ja, you should really work out with Stephen Curry over the summer. He took 20 shots a game, but for me, Curry, I don't know. I'm not going to say what I was going to say. Just go ahead, Angelo.
Okay. My number 4 is SGA. I'm sure he's in both your guys' top 3s. But he
Interesting.
he averaged 31 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, and a 27 PER. He was the do-it-all guy for the Thunder. When he wasn't handling the ball, it was Josh Giddey, but I think the future is very bright for him. He had a great season. And I'm actually very interested to see what the Thunder look like with Chet Holmgren healthy and playing alongside him.
Agreed.
I think that Thunder's team is the team to watch this year.
I think they definitely have one of the brighter futures in the NBA. I don't think that's a hot take by any stretch of the imagination.
No.
Oh, no.
We'll get into that next week, by the way.
Ooh, fun.
So my number 3 is SGA. So this was his first All-Star season, and it was an exciting one. He is definitely, you already hit the mark. He is one of the, if not the most versatile scorers on this list. The one thing that you didn't touch on that I think we should highlight is he was number 3 in the NBA in free throws attempted. He gets to the stripe very frequently. And when you look at that top 5 list of players at the free throw line, like the only people that beat him were Joel Embiid and Giannis Antetokounmpo. And the reason they're that high is because that's the only way to stop them. And to be a smaller player and to be getting to the line at that volume, it really says a lot about how threatening Shea is around the rim and just how at will he is able to get to the rim. So yeah, I have SGA at number 3. This is shocking that you don't have him in the top 3. I thought he was more of a lock than the other 2.
Excuse me?
Well, no, not number 1. Not number 1. But I thought for sure he was in the top 3.
So
I
you better
can't.
check yourself.
Number 1 is set in stone.
Is it?
I swear to
It
God,
better.
Angelo.
Angelo.
You're about to take back the golden L. So, Austin, go ahead and give us your number 3.
So my number 3 is Dame Dalla. Right?
Mm.
So like I said, between him and Steph, it was a real toss-up. The points is where I gave it to Dame. He got you 3 more points. Yes, it was more inefficient, but like you said, the man was taking all of the shots. If he's going to be that efficient taking every single shot, then I mean he should be an MVP this year alone, right? Like if he had Steph's numbers with that amount of shots, easily MVP. But he didn't. So that's why I put him at 3. And I mean we've talked about him. 91 from the free throw. Yeah, we Dame broke me, you know. My only issue is availability. Historically, he's been pretty available, but after last year, he only played 58 games, or the year before, he only got 58. Probably because the organization is absolute dog water. But I don't know.
According to Rehn, apparently.
According to Rehn.
Angelo, who's your number 3?
Damian Lillard.
Yay! Why?
32 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists, 27 PER, and the only thing that was worth watching on the Portland Trail Blazers for the most part. You can say Simons, you can say Grant, but honestly, the man did what he could. Like, I don't know. I don't know what you want from this man. You want him to stay and carry the Portland Trail Blazers organization to a finals. I don't know. Go ahead.
A couple tiers.
Go ahead.
Oh, hold on.
Go ahead.
Okay,
go ahead.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
I have. Hold on. Time out. I have an Angelo specific question.
Yeah.
Had he not requested a trade, is this man even in your top 10?
Yes.
Because you've had no respect for Damian Lillard's game.
That is false. That's false. I have had no respect for the way he has presented his career, but I have respected his game.
So let me just. So he's a top 3-point guard in the NBA today.
Yes.
He's a top 3-point guard. Yeah.
In the NBA today, yes. For the last season, yes.
Okay. We're going to remember this, just so you all know. Just remember this moment, listeners at home. Take a snapshot of this moment.
I'm confused as to what you're thinking about, Rehn.
Yeah, what are you thinking about?
Because this is a man who says it doesn't matter. Like, we talked about this. Because every time I ask, okay?
But this has always been with the context of his greater standing in the... This has... Him being a top 3 player right now has nothing to do with his overall standing in the hierarchy of players that have played the NBA.
So let's I'll grant you that. Let's ignore that. Let's talk about this season. What does 26-10 mean to you?
We're back to Trae Young. It always goes back to Trae Young.
That's what I did. It took me a second. What is 26-10 mean?
So 26-10. That's not a top 10 player. That's not a top 10 player. 26-10.
Not with some personal bias.
Not with some personal bias, indeed.
So you're saying personal bias is allowed, and
you said it at the start of the.
But you're the one saying I'm taking the golden L because I don't care that Damian Lillard scored 32 points a game. Like, I do. I'm not saying I don't. He's top 5 for me. I'm just saying, like, you're saying that career doesn't matter. We're only talking about this season, correct?
Yeah,
correct.
And that's what you've said for this whole list this entire time.
So 26-10 doesn't get you on the top 10. It doesn't get you a number 10. It doesn't get you a number 9.
No.
Okay, so 32 points gets you top 3.
It does.
6 points is a big difference, my dude.
It is.
Okay. So, what's the minimum number of points generated on 10 assists?
Why is Rehn trying to quantify this to, like, scientific theorem?
No.
That's what it feels like you're trying to do at this point.
No. What is the minimum number of points that 10 assists gets you? We won't talk about, like, oh, you got a 3 and it's an and 1. So
20 points.
20 points. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So 20 points, right? Right.
Sure.
Hold on, I gotta pull. Mr. Lillard back up because I closed it.
It's 7
So,
assists.
How are you going to
Seven
make an
assists.
argument and not be ready?
So
It's 7
what's
assists.
the minimum number of points that 7 assists gets you?
14 points.
Okay, so what's 32 plus 14?
We're combining stats.
This is a question.
46.
Okay, so what's 20 plus 26?
46.
Okay.
What does 5 rebounds get you compared to 3 rebounds?
Austin,
this
is the Rehn and Angelo
I'm just
talk
curious.
about-
Yeah, I'm just curious. I'm just
This
asking
is-
questions here.
this is
We're just asking questions here.
This is Rehn and Angelo discuss a hot topic point guard because we have a lot of these. So if both players at a minimum are generating 46 points, and one of them is in your top 10, and one of them is not, and one of them made the playoffs, and one of them did not, you're going to question me. Because let me ask you a question. Is Trae Young a good defender?
No.
Part of this argument.
Is Damian Lillard a good defender?
Can you be part of this argument? Go for it, Austin.
Go ahead.
Tag.
So my thing with what
You
you're
need
trying to say,
backup.
Ren, I may be wrong here, but you're saying Trae Young and Damian Lillard generate the same amount of points, correct?
Technically, yes. If you're being absolutely pragmatic, yes, they do.
Okay.
I'm not trying to be pragmatic. What I'm trying to do is point out that we're saying things while not backing that up. So we can say Damian Lillard did all this and he didn't make the playoffs, but Trae Young, he did the same amount of offensive load carrying in more games played, but he's not even the top 10. And there's a level of hypocrisy there because we're saying that this guy that generated the exact same amount of points is top 3, even though he didn't make the playoffs. But the guy that did the same amount of point generation that didn't make the playoffs isn't even on our top 10. Not even
Go ahead.
Not even top 5. He's not even on the list.
So I get that. And I have Trae at 5, so I'm
Right.
in the top 5 club, right? I guess my problem with how you were just trying to do that, and I may have just misunderstood what you were doing, is 46 for Trae, 46 for Dame, but Dame got 32 by himself. If there's no other team around Dame is still dropping 32.
Okay,
If there's
so
no team around Trae, he's dropping 26.
So
I said, I may have just misunderstood what you were doing.
So last season, let's expand this and be devil's advocates here for a minute. We always have these little segues in the middle of these, which I love because they are actually really fun. So we're going to play a quick game of this or that. Which would you prefer on your team? Okay, and don't look at stats.
Okay.
I mean, you probably should because if you're going off historical, you're going to say one over the other, and you shouldn't
Do I need
because
to keep
one of
track
them.
of the this or that?
No. There's only 2.
Okay.
Would you rather have Jeremy Grant or John Collins?
John Collins.
Off of last season, you would rather have John Collins. Now, keep in mind...
You said don't look at the stats. So, yes, John Collins.
No. So, there's a fun fact about John Collins. Did you know that he permanently mangled his shooting hand and he has a deformity on his shooting hand and that's why he's not shooting as well now? Do you know that?
I did not.
Yeah, so Google John Collins' finger. It's freaking gross. Anthony Simons or DeJounte Murray?
DeJounte.
I would take Anthony.
What?
But
defense is the thing.
DeJounte.
But so is there a massive when you're saying DeJounte over Anthony, is this some massive
Yes.
Really?
DeJounte
Really?
is in the top 10 in my list. Anthony is not.
Ugh. Strong disagree.
Ugh.
So when we're saying, oh, Dame's doing it all by himself,
because he is.
Trey kind of.
But you literally just said that in your argument for him at 5.
No, I'm specifically bringing it up because we're talking about it. Okay. Because I don't think Trey is completely by himself. I'm just saying that the gap between their teams is not as big as we're making it out to be because, again, John Collins is pretty much permanently disfigured in his shooting hand. Seriously, Google it right now. It's weird. His fingers like his... I don't know. It's like the size of a toe. That doesn't make sense. Just Google it. Look. So, yeah, it's weird for me to say that we're going to give Dame a pass and he's top 3 because he had to do it all by himself. But Trae generated the same amount of points. They both play the same level of defense. I would not say one of them is better than the other. I think they're both hot garbage when it comes to defense. And both of them, you can say Trae has a better team. Sure, but it's not by that much. So that's the point I'm trying to make is we're saying that Dame is top 3, which I don't disagree with. You can say Dame's top 3. I don't put him there because you scored a lot and you didn't make the playoffs, whatever. I have a problem with saying he's there because he generated this many points and he did it by himself, but we don't even have Trae on the top 10. That's my question.
Austin does.
Austin does, but that's why I said this was a Rehn and Angelo. Like,
Yeah,
Austin
no, I know.
jumped into the
I was
conversation.
figuring out your metrics. That's what I was arguing, not that Trae is the top 5 or not.
So, yeah, I don't have a problem
Right.
with Dame being the top 3. I just don't have him
Right.
there because he's old and didn't make the playoffs. So it doesn't matter to me.
But
If you're
does
young,
age matter when you're just looking at a single season in a vacuum?
I think it does. I think it does because there is, when
I
you're
don't think
looking
it
at a
does at
young
all.
player, I think it does because when you're looking at a young team and how they perform either in, like when we get to that race for the playoffs, right? Because
Mhm.
you have those top teams that you know are going to make it. But then when you're looking on the outside looking in and you have that end of season race to get in the playoffs, age plays a factor because you're freaking out, right? Like you've never been here before. It's the same thing where we say like young teams, like the Cleveland Cavaliers underperformed in the playoffs based on what we expected them to do, but it was because they're young, they get a pass. Next season, that pass is revoked because they've been there, they know what to expect next season. Damian Lillard is not a young player anymore. He doesn't get the pass that, you didn't lead your team to the playoffs because, again, we're talking about the players, for all intents and purposes, going down our top 10 list, with the exception of maybe Jamal Murray. These are the leaders of their teams. Correct? You couldn't lead your team to the playoffs. That's all I'm saying. That's why he's not, like, production-wise, absolutely top 3. But in a vacuum, no, he's not. He's top 5 for me.
You know what? That's fair.
Yep.
So, who were we on? I just did.
If
SGA
you're on
for
you,
3.
you're on
So I did SGA for 3. Did Austin do his number 3?
I
Dame.
put Dame at 3. And Angelo put Dame at 3.
3.
So we're on my number 2.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so my number 2. Thank you for joining us for the episode that never starts. It also never ends.
Yes.
My number 2 is Wardell Stephen Curry. So the thing about Steph is age doesn't seem to be slowing him down. He's now legitimately in his mid-30s. He's 35 this season.
But he's old.
He's old. But did he make the playoffs?
I don't remember.
He did.
Yes. He lost in the second round to LeBron.
That's right.
He beat the Kings.
So we're still seeing the same level of circus shots that we're expecting out of Steph, and he's doing it efficiently. So he averaged 29.4 points, 6.1 rebounds, which we'll get to that in a second, 6.3 assists, 49% from the field, 42% from 3, and 91% from the free throw line with a 24 PER. Now, if I wanted to be nitpicky here, I would compare him to Damian Lillard. I'm not going to. What I will say is for his size, because he is only 6'2", 6'3", he rebounds incredibly well given his size and his age. Because 6.1 rebounds from a point guard, I don't know if until we get to the top 3 or the top 1, I don't think there's anyone on the list that out-rebounds Stephen Curry. And
No. Kyrie. Oh, no. No.
yeah,
They
there's
don't.
no one that out rebounds them. So if you're only looking at points, sure, you can put Damian Lillard over Steph Curry, but the complete player, because I do think Steph Curry,
I
while
don't think
not
either of
not
us had. Oh, wait. Austin did. Never mind. Sorry,
while
go on.
not a great defender by any stretch of the imagination, he's a better defender than the Trae Youngs and the Damian Lillards of the world. Um, and a 61% effective field goal percentage. Like, I, I, I don't know. That Steph Curry's number 2. I don't know who y'all have at number 2, but Steph Curry's number 2.
So that's fair. I'm using Ren logic just to make fun of him. Damian Lillard contributed for 46 points. Stephen Curry was only 41. Throwing that out there.
Who made the playoffs?
Fair point.
Hold on.
Red's
Steph
starting to
Curry.
sound like me.
Hold on. We won't talk about his assists. Steph Curry generated 30.5 points in the playoffs just in points scored before we get to assists. How many did Dame generate?
Look, I said fair point. I said fair point. And
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I said,
You
3 and 4 were
you don't-
reversible for me between Steph and
You
Dame.
don't want that smoke, is what I'm hearing.
Number 2 is
Yeah.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. 31.5 or 31, 5 and 6. I mean, we've talked about Shai, I think, enough-ish. He's electric from all assets of the court. He's efficient shooting. Yeah. 51% from the field. 35 from 3 is kind of upsetting, not going to lie. But, I mean, he is taking free throws. I think you said he was, what, 3rd in free throws?
3rd in free throws, and he hit 90% of them.
Yeah, that's impressive. Job. Maybe go work out with Shai, too. You know, figure it out. Man had 11 win share. We haven't really used win share much today, but, like, that's kind of impressive. That 11 wins were just because of Mr. Shai. I mean, he's young. I'll give that example or that reasoning. But I think this is not Shai's career year. I think he has more in the tank. And I think he'll post numbers higher than this in the next few years. Especially if he has a defensive anchor like Chet down low. So yeah, Shai at number 2.
Steph Curry is number 2 for me. I really can't say much that Ren hasn't already said. 29 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists. He had a 24 PER. He's still Steph Curry. He's still one of the best point guards in the NBA right now. Like,
I think at this point, like, I have a hard problem discussing players like as it pertains to all time while they're still playing, right?
that's fair.
So we could argue, like, is LeBron the greatest of all time? I will never put him on the greatest of all time until he's retired. Like, it just won't happen.
You won't consider it, is what you mean. Not necessarily that he is.
Yeah. So Steph, I think you can easily argue as the best point guard of all time. For sure, he changed the game in a way that probably nobody has, with the exception of maybe the ABA merger, because the ABA, history lesson for y'all, because we talk about this
Here
a
we
lot.
go.
So the ABA was closer to the modern NBA than the NBA of the time. And when that ABA merger, that was where the dunks started happening, the distant shooting. Like, that came from the ABA. So the ABA players that came over changed the game in that aspect. Is there another player, like maybe Allen Iverson changed the game, but I don't think he was at the level to be on the greatest of all time list. But I don't think LeBron James changed the game. He transcended the game. Michael Jordan transcended the game, but they didn't evolve the game. I'm not saying Stephen Curry is better than either of those two. Just an FYI, I'm just saying that he also has that going for him on top of his production.
I think Kobe, there's an argument for more of a mentality change than an actual physical change.
Absolutely. Nobody was shooting like shots and saying Jordan. Nobody says LeBron.
People say Curry from 3
They do, but
and
like
Kobe from 2.
the Mamba mentality is a real thing. I do think it did influence a generation, if not change the game. So I would grant that, but I don't know. With how old Curry is getting, and like we went through it with LeBron, and like we've kind of accepted it now, like he's in the twilight of his career. It doesn't feel like Curry's slowing down just yet, but I know we're at the verge of that. If it's not next season, it will be the season after that, where suddenly, you know, he does the little shake and needs a hip replacement surgery. It's getting there.
I think
Oh man.
I think handles he'll slow down, but I mean shooting you can shoot up until
Yeah.
you're,
Yeah, he'll probably be like
50,
41 when he
60 if he
retires.
wants,
Oh,
And I
he
think
won't
that
play
helps
that
just because
long.
he doesn't play as physical as Braun did.
I don't think he'll play that much longer. Honestly, I think like just given the like off the court things we see like with Aisha and Riley, it's
You think
he's gonna.
he'll go family soon?
I think he'll go family. Like, what does he? There is nothing Steph Curry has to prove to anyone, right?
Sure.
Like, at this point, he's just doing it because he loves the game.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you have anything else to say on your number 2, Angelo?
I don't.
Okay, so my number 1, which if you're following along at home, you should be able to piece this together. It's Luka Doncic.
Yep.
I had this at number 1 before I even sat down to write the list. So this is the one time I'm going to say missing the playoffs gets a pass because solely. No.
Goalposts.
No.
Goalposts.
So okay, why did the Mavericks miss the playoffs?
Kyrie.
No.
That's what I'm going with. Kyrie.
Why was there an investigation into why the Mavericks missed the playoffs? They tanked. Why did they tank?
Hopefully not Wemby.
It wasn't Wemby. But why did they tank?
Don't say.
It was Kyrie Irving, but it was specifically the draft capital involved in that trade. So by missing the playoffs, they retained their draft rights to their pick, which ended up being Lively. So I'm giving them the pass. Yeah, I'm giving them the pass because that was why that last game, like why Mark Cuban was cheering when the Mavericks were missing shots. Like that was a deliberate thing. And I think Lively is going to pay off dividends. I think that giving Luka a safety valve defensively is more valuable than making the playoffs that season. Box score, like you both are going to go into it, so I don't really need to, but 32 and a half points, 9 rebounds, 8 assists, 49, 34, 74 from the fields, 28.7 PER. Box score speaks for itself. And like I said, he gets the pass for missing the playoffs because he is young. He's very, very, very young, and that's scary to me. But yeah, I'll save some for y'all to talk about because if you don't have Luka at number 1, because Angelo has been hinting that our number 1s are going to be different, and if he left Luka off of his top 10 list, this is the last episode of No Reserves. I'm just telling you now.
He's going to football, and he'll be a football only personality from here on out.
So then the experiment of seeing how long it takes to burn me out will have failed.
Yeah, because it will be immediately.
Because you burnt us out.
I flipped the switch.
Uno reverse card.
Uno reverse card, yes.
Luka, I mean, like Rehn said, I mean, the man was pretty shy of a triple-double average. Kind of insane. I am a little disappointed in his free throw percentage. I thought he shot better than
What is with you in the free throw percentage?
They're free points, man.
It's called a free throw for a reason.
Yeah.
You guys are really bashing on people who are shooting like 75% from the line.
I'm not gonna lie, I haven't focused on free throw till the point guards, but it's like I mean, if your whole game plan is about, and Lucas isn't entirely, but if your whole game plan is about getting to the paint, you know that there's going to be fouls involved. That should be something that you focus on.
Side note, real quick, just because I pulled this up, or I just realized this. Y'all use Basketball Reference for your points, like your stats, correct?
Correct.
So specifically to Angelo, I would like to point out that if you scroll up next to the player's name, it tells you how to pronounce it. like Nikola Jokic. It tells you Jokic, not Jokic.
I say Jokic.
Yeah.
It's Jokic. It's Jokic. Why do you do this to me?
I'm now looking this up now. What do you say basketball?
Luka Doncic
Yeah, basketball
is my
reference.
number one.
Oh
Luka
God,
Doncic.
I hate that even more.
But I mean, there's not really much else to say from Luka. I'm surprised. I'm sure
This
Angel's gonna
backfired
have
on
to
Rehn
find
quickly.
something. It did. But he is the Dallas Mavericks offense right now, and that's the big problem with the Mavericks, being a Mavericks fan. And I hope Ren is right about Lively. I hope Kyrie does something to be useful.
Stays on the court.
Yeah, I hope he doesn't go off on some crazy rant before the next season starts and is out for a while.
I don't think he will.
I hope he won't. Maybe Mike Cuban can get through to him.
Or Dirk.
Or Dirk. I would love to see an argument between those two. That would be good. Anyways, Angelo, what do you have to add to Mr. Luka at number one?
Or does he have someone else at one?
Yes, I have Luka at one.
Okay.
I thought you were about to say someone else. I was about to just quit.
Say his name. Say his name.
Luka what was it, Austin? Doncic?
Doncic.
Doncic. Luka Doncic.
Go ahead and talk, Angelo.
So, I mean, you hit all the nails on the head. I think the thing about Luka's game that impresses me the most is his ability to do the small things right and his ability to use his weight, his momentum, and everything to his advantage. His playmaking is crazy. His shooting, I think, to a lot of people, is a little bit overrated. But when he's hot, he feels oppressive, and that's kind of the thing you want in a superstar. You want when they're on to feel oppressive. That's why, Jamal Murray is a little bit higher on this list than maybe his regular season stats would suggest, because when he was on in the playoffs, he felt oppressive.
And the thing with Luka is it's weird because like if he's wide open in the corner, you don't feel like super confident. Like yeah, he might make it, but it's not.
It's the step backs. It's the freaking step backs.
It's the step backs and the faders. Like every time he takes one, it seems like it goes in. Like the stupidest shot. Like he is a walking 2K player. And not like this 2K, but like 2K when like they had like moving three and like all that crap. Mm-hmm. Because if he was wide open in the corner, he's only got the 30 standing three. But if it's a fader out of bounds, he is hitting it off the dribble.
You should have played with Adam when the moving three and the standing three were separate attributes, basically.
God. But no, Luka Doncic, he's a cheat code. He's not like he's built like a small forward, but he's not a point forward. Like he's not at all. He is a point guard, and he plays so much smaller than he is because he's a big boy.
He is, but he still knows how to use his weight.
Yeah, absolutely. Like he will bully you to the rim.
Yeah.
But he'll also beat you off the dribble on the outside. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. Like, Luka is the future of the NBA, along with Nikola Jokic and Victor Wembanyama, whether you like it or not. That's the future.
Why did you choose the three people that Angelo has issues or I have issues with saying?
Deliberately.
Yeah,
I
pretty
did
much.
it deliberately.
Heel kicked and Wamba Wama.
I love that.
Oh God, I hate both of you right now. Does Wemby have a nickname yet besides Wemby? No, he does
I
not.
don't know. The bust.
Whoa!
Okay? Since we're done with our lists, because we're done
Yes.
with our list, right? What is your favorite like modern player nickname? Because like if you go back, like Magic, like that's a nickname. The Big Diesel, the
Magic is a
Mailman,
really good one, honestly.
like the Iceman, like those are great nicknames. The Process is kind of mid. So, what is your favorite modern nickname? Because the Matador is Lucas, and that's kind of. I
I
don't
like
like
Point
it.
God for CP3.
Point guard
Ooh,
for CP3 was pretty
ooh,
good.
ooh. King James is good. Like
King
even
James.
if you don't like LeBron, like that's good.
Yeah, it's good.
Greek Freak is good.
German Jesus.
German Jesus is good. The Truth is kind of bland.
I don't mind it. I don't know.
The Answer.
Depends on the day.
Big Ticket's good. Big Ticket was really good.
Yeah, big ticket's good.
Big Shot Bob, that's a classic. I don't consider those like modern though. J Crossover, that's a good one.
hmm
Crawford. I'm trying to think of other players with nicknames because there's not like just thinking about players.
I mean, on Basketball Reference, so like name a random player.
No, I know they have them. Like Ice Tray, like you can hate Trey
Ice
Young.
Tray.
Ice
That's a
Tray
good
is
one. Yeah.
good. That's a good nickname.
Especially for how cold he gets in the playoffs.
Like Jalen Brunson. What's Jalen Brunson's?
Brunson. Let's see. Brunson is listed as JB and Brunson Burner.
I like Brunson Burner. I like
Brunson
Brunson
Burner
Burner. That's good.
probably
That's good.
something
That's
Austin
good.
likes.
De'Aaron Fox is Swipa. We know that. What's Darius Garland's?
Garland.
Does Garland have a nickname?
Boog. DG the PG.
I hate both of those so much. God. It's Tyrese Halliburton. I'm just looking at my list. Tyrese Halliburton. Which I know he hates Hallie. Like, he despises the nickname Hallie.
Does not have a listed one.
Shay. Because SGA is good, but that's just an abbreviation.
It's SGA. That's the only thing
That's the only
yeah.
one?
That's the only thing that's listed. Yeah. What about
That
Luca?
is Chef Curry. Luca is the Matador. I know that
The
one.
Matador, El Matador, Cool Hand, the Don, Wonder Boy, El Nino Marvella, Swaggy L, Luca Legend, Too Easy, Luca Magic.
Just as an aside, real quick, Luca Magic's really good. Austin is not here anymore. He just texted the group chat that his cat spilled water on his computer, so he had to shut it off.
Okay.
So
Brunson Burner
Brunson
added again.
Burner, that's top tier. That's top. Brunson Burner's top tier. I like that a lot.
What's another top point guard right now?
Well, top player. Let's think it's just top players, real quick.
Tatum?
Tatum. What's Tatum's?
Ooh. Taco J.
I hate that with every fiber of my being. Does he have another one?
Just J and Taco J.
Oh, those are terrible. I'm so mad right now.
Does Embiid have one other than the process? Ooh. JoJo. Do a 180. Troel and the Phantom of the Process.
Phantom of the Process is good. Hinkie died for our sins.
He did.
He
really
will never have a job in the NBA again because of the process.
He won't.
That's fair. He doesn't deserve one, but it worked.
It worked. I think this is a conspiracy theory. I think they got him out there because like it was on the cusp of starting to work. And if the 76ers saw it start to work, they wouldn't have fired him.
Tyrese Maxey is Mad Maxey and Prince of the City. I like Mad Maxey.
Mad Maxey is pretty good.
That's pretty good. Let's just do a random Dwayne Dedman, the mechanic.
Really,
Michael Foster Jr.
Yeah, the mechanic.
doesn't have one. Montrezl Harrell, just Trez. Tobias Harris, Toby.
I wonder if
I'm looking for like a random
Russell.
Furkan Korkmaz, the Turkish delight.
D'Angelo Russell. What is D'Lo? Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Deloading. Like that's.
Yeah.
Mac McClung. Does McClung have a nickname? He does not. I'm just looking at like random players. D'Anthony Melton.
Austin Reeves.
Oh God. D'Anthony Melton's nickname is
Billy Kobe. Hillbilly Kobe. Hillbilly Kobe. Rehn.
That is a great name. Actually, I knew that one. Matisse Thybulle is Mathief, the Disruptor, and Spider-Man. Georges Niang, the minivan. I don't get it.
Oh man.
We could do a whole episode on this.
We could.
Hey guys, thanks for joining. Thanks for listening. If you're still here and you've listened to this whole episode that never starts, never ends, never finishes, never begins. Check out the football podcast. Like I said, it was, as someone that's not the hugest fan of football, it was a good listen. And I'm saying that as an unbiased person. Like obviously, like I do want the podcast to succeed because it is under the No Reserves umbrella, but I really did enjoy it.
Alex is very knowledgeable.
Alex is very, very knowledgeable, which on the episode I learned through listening that he has not really been following the NFL that long, but it seems like he has a very big passion for it. And it was very enjoyable. Check it out. Let us know what you want to see from that. Let us know what you want to see from this. But if you're listening to this episode, you've probably been listening along. So you need to do that. Follow us on socials. Follow us here. Leave us a comment, like, subscribe, whatever you want to do. We will see you next week when we get back into the grind, starting for next season. I don't know what that'll entail. I've got ideas, but Angelo, Austin, and I will discuss it. And yeah, we will see you next week. Have a good week.
Have a great one.